Hey guys, so today really gonna dive into accessorizing your glassing setup. So we talk about glassing. I'm coming from a place of hunting. So everything I'm gonna talk about today is kind of through the lens of hunting big game. And when you're hunting big game, depending on the terrain and where you're at in the country or the world, you spend a lot of time behind glass. And I've done a previous video going through all the different binoculars that I've used, that I own, and I kind of did a review on that. But today I'm going to talk about some of the tripods, the panning heads, and some of the fine detailed accessories that I've found that have just worked better than others, and that I just enjoy. So I'm going to walk through both of these setups here. I have a couple of different tripods that I've owned over the years. I started just like a lot of people with just whatever you have on hand, and a lot of the things that I've used in the past weren't necessarily made for hunting and for glassing with binoculars on it, but it's made do. But I have two different tripods here, and they're kind of both very specific for a different type of hunt. I'll start over here on this side here. So this is a Manfrotto Element tripod, and this is a very packable. It's a very packable tripod, and what I mean is that it folds up. I can put all these legs up. I can take this off. This will pack really nicely in a backpack, right? That's not a whole lot of. Adjust this here, but that's not a very big tripod. You can pack it. A lot of backpacks nowadays make backpack spots on the sides or sometimes on the top where these are meant to actually be stored. So that's one really nice thing about this. Again, this is the Manfrotto Element. It's a cheaper tripod. It's made of aluminum. It's a great entry level. I've used it for many years. Every year I grease and lubricate some of these twists. One thing I don't like about it, I don't like that it's almost too adjustable, right? There's adjustments here that pivot all the way up. So you have adjustment there. You have 4 different extensions and they all adjust. But if you're looking for something that's really versatile and it'll go kind of anywhere with you, it's lightweight, maybe you're an ultra light backcountry hunter, this is a really good option. You can see that I put, it's like a hockey tape on there just to kind of take the glare off, the sheen and the sunlight. It does extend some. You can see the distance here. It's very nice. I do like being able to glass. I'll be sitting and adjusting your depth up and down. It's really nice. It's a quick hand. Your hand just naturally sits right on this knob. That's pretty nice. And then this is the Ciru VA5 panning head. I don't know this to be the absolute fact, but that's got to be one of the best glassing panning heads on the market. I mean, it's if you guys are looking to get one, this is one of those purchases that I think you'll make and you'll never make again because you'll like it so much. I highly recommend the head. I have a Vortex Bino adapter on here, and I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to take some time and actually discuss this. These come with a lot of the binoculars that you buy from Vortex. They're very cheap. I think it's like $40 to get the actual binocular adapter. And what I don't like about it, there's a couple of things I don't like about it. This is what I used for years, by the way. This is my first ever binocular adapter. Used it, still use it. But I'm going to talk to you about this setup here and why I think that this might be a little bit cheaper, maybe a little bit easier to manufacture, and for the reasons that I'm going to tell you, I don't like them. But you can see that this receiver, this is the female end of the receiver. This threads onto the bottom of your plate. So these plates go and they slide onto here, and they're really easy. But you really have to reef this down, this nut, and screw that into this receiver, and it can come loose on you. That's one reason I don't like it. But you can see the male end is on the binocular, right? I'm sure you guys have seen a bunch of different ways that you can mount binoculars to a tripod. The reason I don't like this one is you can see that's sticking off the bottom. So imagine wearing this on your chest. It doesn't always hit you, but that sticks down, and it has to be fastened on there in order for this to work. And this simply just sits inside that receiver. One reason I don't like it is it seems to be, if you get it mounted up, so when you're glassing, sometimes really far distances, a little bit of movement can mean a lot. So for example, see this movement here on the binocular? I'm moving it. That's just the machining and how loose that male end sits inside the female receiver. But if you're glassing and you're hitting your eyes up on it, it creates some, not discomfort, but just it's a little bit annoying to have this move a lot. And at far distances, just that little bit of wiggle, it can take game in and out of your view. And so that's me being really picky. Again, for the price, if it comes with your binoculars, it's better than nothing, right? But that's one thing I don't like about it. Like I said, I don't like how that sticks out the bottom. I just think it's a bad design. But if that's what you got, that's what you got. Overall, again, just on this specific setup here, you know, really not talking about the binoculars at all. This is a great lightweight option if you're a backcountry hunter, or you're backpacking a lot and you just want to have an opportunity to glass things at afar. This is a great setup. I have the Sear VA5 head on both of these, so that's the one thing about these two setups that's the exact same. I just love this head. I think it's the best. It's very adjustable. It's very high quality. I can't say enough about the head. So yeah, I think that's what I'll say about that. I guess the last thing, a lot of people don't realize this, but these hooks at the bottom, these are made to be able to put weight on the bottom. So if it's a really windy day, let's say, and it's wanting to blow your setup around, you can hang a bag of rocks or whatever you have to weigh this down to the ground so that it's really sturdy. So that's something to point out, that a lot of these tripods come with that hook on the bottom, and that's what that's made for. So Manfrotto Element tripod, about $100, depending on where you get it. Hockey tape, Vortex binocular adapter, Sear VA5 head. That's this side over here. We're going to put this to the side. This is a completely different setup. So this is the Slick Carbon Pro 633. And this is going to be new for me. This is a setup. One thing I didn't mention about that the main difference actually, is I can't stand up and glass with this tripod over here on the right, this Manfrotto Element. I wanted something that, I'm 6'3", so I'm pretty tall, but when I stand up, I wanted something that when I extend those legs all the way down, and I bring this all the way up, right, I can now glass. This is just now touching the ground. I can glass fully standing up. So it's kind of a big deal. A lot of times I do like to hunker down in a rocky outcropping or wherever I may be, but sometimes it's really nice to stand up, especially if you have a spotting scope or something of that nature. So again, this is the Slick Carbon Fiber Pro 633. They're very similar in weight. I'm not sure the exact weight, but they're under 3 pounds or right around there. This is the Sear VA5 head. This binocular adapter is something I really wanted to focus on here. So this is the Field Optics Research adapter, and it looks something like that. And the piece on the binocular, you can see this piece, it just sticks up into it. So it's really nice because let's say that I'm going to pick my setup and I'm going to walk real quick over to a point because there's an elk kind of crossing over a ridge and I want to just get a quick glimpse of them. With that one, the entire unit will fall off. With this, you're really locked in, right? Get this set back up. So once you're locked in, I can pick this up and it's upside down, it's on there, right? You actually have to hit this clasp with your finger in order to take it off, which is, you know, for some people, they may not like that. For me, I really do enjoy that because, again, I talked about that movement on this one where you're getting movement. This one seems to be very, very sturdy. So when you're glassing and your eye cups are touching your face, you don't get that movement. So at long distance, when you're, again, if you have a little bit of movement over a long way, you can completely remove that object from your field of view. So this is a really nice binocular adapter. It's a little expensive. I think it's like 50 bucks. But I believe it's a company made in the United States, and it seems to be, you know, really durable and rigid, which is what you need in a glassing situation. I really, really like the setup over here. And they do sell, which is actually really important if you got 3 or 4 pair of binoculars like I do, they sell just this threaded piece that goes in that adapts to this. So you can take this and move it from different tripods, but you could have a bunch of these threaded into all your different setups, so you could always just grab it and put it in. So like that's example right here. I have these 18 by 56. I have that same exact thread on there. So I can just simply take 2 different binoculars really quickly and put that on. This will be new for me this year. This is kind of one of those little fun things that I added to my collection this year. This is a piece when we're talking about accessorizing your glassing setup. This is something that goes on your tripod and allows you to put a rifle, rest your rifle. So if you have a shot and you want to be able, you know, really sturdy, firm hold, you can put this tripod up and you can start to get some very, very steady opportunities at game. So that's a new purchase for me. FHF Gear sells those. Talking more about accessorizing, these are called Bino Bandits, and I've come to really love these. They simply go over top of the eye cups and they just kind of hold in place. And it's kind of a dual purpose, right? So when you're glassing, there's a glare. This really, you can put your face in there and it protects the sun or any light from getting in. That's one thing it does. If you don't want to use it, you can simply fold it down and it can just be just like any other type of glass with no binocular banded on it. But that's really nice just from the glare standpoint. That's probably the main benefit of it. But it's also nice too that there's these 2 clips you can put it over top. And now it serves as a cover for the top of your lens to keep, you know, just basic dirt off of. It's not super tight by any means, but it'll keep, you know, water and most things from getting onto your glass directly. So really recommend those. Again, that's called the Bino Bandit. You can get these a lot of different places. Another thing I wanted to discuss, a lot of people take those little cloths. They come with a lot of different setups when you buy them. But just to be able to, if you have grime or some type of dirt or water that gets on your glass while you're glassing, you want to be able to clean that off so you get really clear visual. So I used to carry those cloths around with me, and they get dirty and they get wet, and I've even seen them where they have that little pouch so you could tuck it inside of itself and you just kind of clip it on the side of your vinyl harness. But this is something that I found from Vortex just looking around one day. It's a pen. So there's a cap on the end, and this is a surface that is meant to clean your glass. So if you have smudges on it, you can take that. There's something that they put in here. I'm not sure what it is. I'm sure it's just like it's a little piece of foam with some type of it's like a liquid almost. And when you put that cap on, it touches to that foam and it receives some of that on it. So when you take it off, you clean your glass, it's really clear really quick. That's really nice. The other side, it's like a little pen. You stick it up and it's this brush. So if you got just basic dust in there, or you just want to clean off something, you can use that really quickly, and it goes with you anywhere you need to. It's got a little clip on the outside. It's a pretty cheap thing. I think it was $5 or less. I mean, I wouldn't have bought it if it was much more than that, but it just is, it's nice to have because it's a direct contact thing. You can clean it, you can brush it, and it goes right in the side of your pouch. So that's a really cool thing that I've found. And then just briefly to kind of wrap up this video in terms of accessorizing your glassing setup, you know, just a basic binocular harness. I mean, there's so many different companies that make them. You can get them just about anywhere. There's some that are definitely better than others. FHF Gear makes some really high-end ones. I might get an FHF Gear one in the future. It just seems to be that they make a kit and a system that allows you to really, you know, get very specific to what you're doing and what your gear is. So you can accessorize based on the type of, you know, binoculars you take and things of that nature. So, but again, you can get these. A lot of these come with binoculars when you buy them. This was the one that came with these 18x56 when I purchased them, and it's nice because these are a tall binocular. I mean, when we're looking at, you know, height, this is something that I'll take with me. In just a couple of weeks here, we're going to be going to Utah to hunt in October for mule deer. So I'm probably going to take both of these setups, my 10x42 and my 18x56 for long distance. And so this is something I can just throw inside my pack. And then when I take these out and I'm glassing with them, you know, I have the opportunity to kind of switch back and forth. So if I'm looking at something close, you know, I can easily do that. And then I have the big boys up there. So, but the Bino harness is invaluable. I mean, most of them all have covers for them. So if you wanted to keep out of rain and snow, they're right on your chest. They can be very handy. A lot of different ways that they strap, but I don't think I need to talk about that too much. It's pretty self-explanatory. So again, when you're looking at tripods, just to wrap this video up, when you're looking at tripods, you can spend a lot of money really quick. This is not a cheap tripod by any means. This is a couple $100. This is a more cheap, you know, basic entry level tripod, but you want to get something that you know is specifically for what you're looking to do with it. If you got big heavy glass, a spotting scope, you want something that's maybe a little bit taller, that's got a little bit wider base, that's going to be able to handle a little bit of wind. Something like this, it's very adjustable, requires a little bit more time to set up. But on the flip side, right, there's pros and cons to everything. On the flip side of this, I mean, packing this right here into a backpack, it's quite a bit taller, right? It's not necessarily heavier because it is carbon fiber, but it's a lot taller. When I fold these legs out versus that, I mean, it's almost twice as tall. But again, when you're going on these hunts, what are you doing most of the time? You're glassing. That's typically what you're doing and spending a lot of time on. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, shoot it, you know, definitely throw something in the comments and I'd be more than happy to chat with you. Again, really enjoy doing these videos. If you guys have a you know, suggestion of something you want to hear me talk about, by all means. We're in the gear lab here, so we got a lot of gear. We don't do enough of these videos, so if you have anything you want me to talk about, please feel free to comment, and we hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of this. So have a good one.